Hey, hunting family, what's going on tonight? We got a full house, and we're coming to you on a Monday night with a live stream. Going to be talking about some hunting stories, and I got the crew here with me tonight. Tonight's episode is I already been told there's maybe some disinformation. Giant whitetail down and banner season so far. Got some pictures we're going to share, but and stories we're going to tell. But how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
So tonight I got my cousin Buck with me. He's working on a bow in the bow shop. What you doing, brother? He he's on mute. He's got the kids, the child labor going on in the background.
Oh, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
No, I got trying to get my daughter's new target bow together.
Mm.
She got an Elite Victra, so Mason got his set up. I got to get hers going for her right now.
You ready to shoot, Kara? She can't hear you because I'm in
She
your
can't.
ear.
Yeah, you're in my ear, so she can't hear. But yeah, she's jonesing for this thing. It's been a long time coming because she's left-handed.
Right.
They didn't have left-handed bows out until just a week ago. She finally got it, and it was ordered when they released it. So
Well, get it ready for her, man.
yeah,
Let her throw some.
I got a couple screws to adjust yet, but I'm here. I'll be listening. I'm interacting.
All right, brother. Sounds great. Sounds great. We got my other brother, Justin Barrick. How you doing, Justin?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing all right. Justin, you want to tell everybody about the debacle we had earlier, or are we going to leave that story untold?
It's hearsay.
Hearsay.
All of it. Yeah.
I made Justin a collaborator on the stream, and that's why we had to send out a new link. So somebody started the stream and ended it before we even got going. So
Hearsay.
hearsay. So Justin's with us tonight. He's going to be sharing a story. Man, you got yourself a nice deer, and he's like the king of leading you on with the story because he sends a picture out to the group chat and he asks us, "What do you think this trail cam pick would score?" And he's really just baiting us because getting plenty of responses or whatever. And then he says, "Well, I'll let you know in a few days." And he throws up a picture of him holding up with the grip and grin. So I'm anxious to hear how this one turned out.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question: is if we know what it scores yet.
No, I kind of really quick threw a tape to it, and I don't kill big enough deer to do that on. But I think it's just shy of 130.
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was guessing. Probably 127 to 130 ish.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right.
Heck of a deer.
I'd be
Yeah.
very pleased with it. Very pleased. Well,
Not gonna give them back.
that's
No.
right. And we got my man Cody Griffith with Triple B Outdoors. How you doing?
Doing good. Been killing this year, so it's been great so far.
Every other response in the group chat, Cody's got another animal down.
And it's a different
Yeah.
species every time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're having that good year, man. So
Yeah, I hope the ducks treat us the same way. I'll find out Saturday. It's when our duck season opens, but so far it's been a hell of a year already.
yeah, man. I love to hear it. Love to hear it, and we love seeing those pictures. I love seeing the kids too.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh yeah. Well, my daughter and my girlfriend, we went walking out behind the house just a little bit ago, and she got to shoot a squirrel, and she is all grinning ear to ear. So I got it cut up, put in the freezer. And we're trying to get enough for some squirrel dumplings. So
Love it.
took them this weekend, and we walked 7 miles this weekend. And as long as we were squirrel hunting, they were just fine. They didn't bitch once. Usually it's carry me, do this, do that. I can't walk. No, hey, they're having the time of their life.
That's it, man. That's what it's all about is getting out and, getting them excited and something like small game like squirrels. I mean, they can be active and get a little bit of action going. So
Yeah.
right on. Well, I don't know how we're going to carry this, guys. We got the group. I opened this up to a lot of the guys in the collaborative to see who wanted to hop on. And I know Justin said about sharing some stories last week, and I took the week off and went hunting, and had a super week. Windy, up here, windy and cold, but that's about par for the case up where our camp is. So I got some fun tales to tell as well. But Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you, man. I'm going to give you the mic, and why don't you tell us about this deer, because you've been chasing it all year, I guess, right? You've been watching this
Yeah,
deer.
yeah. I would say I've got a little piece of property that it's not very big. It's maybe 20 acres, and you can hunt maybe, I don't know, 6 acres of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those deals where it's just kind of it's tucked in amongst the right stuff. There is I think there is some, some people kind of sneak. It's Pennsylvania, so there's some people that sneak on here and there. But I mean, I've been very fortunate. There's a lot of deer there, and really, for me, it's a place I can go and fill the freezer. And I think that, for me, that's what deer hunting really kind of has become and is. And it's filling the freezer. We don't buy red meat. Our red meat is venison. So we got to get with our family. We got to get about 5 to get into the next season with a little bit of meat left. So that's what it is. I can go there. I see deer. There's some big does there, and I've seen some big bucks. But just kind of random, working through or whatever. But this year, this buck actually somewhere mid October, I got a picture of him middle of the day, and sort of was just like, okay, well, he got spooked in from somewhere or something, but that's cool. It's cool to know that something like that's around. But
Never complain about seeing them on camera.
yeah, no, but it's when I got pictures of him the second time, it was like, okay, um, he's kind of around, and I got some pictures at night, and I was like, man, I might actually be able to hunt and think that I got a chance to see this deer. Um, so and then it was kind of one of those things where I did hunt there a little bit. It seemed like, of course, when I was there, I wasn't seeing many deer this year altogether. But then, he'd pop up. I mean, I think the one week on like a Tuesday, he rolled in, like he came through at like 11 a.m. And then that Saturday, that was the week of the youth rifle, because both the girls, Lily killed a deer Thursday night, Addie killed a deer Friday night, and both nights were real late nights, getting home, taking care of the deer, getting them skinned down and in the fridge, get the quarters in the fridge and stuff. And so the next morning I didn't go hunting. Well, I didn't plan to go hunting. I woke up at 5, couldn't get back to sleep, so I went and sat behind the house. Didn't see anything, but like 10 a.m., I got a picture of him. I was like, man, that's, I kind of missed my opportunity. And so I went and hunted the next morning. It was a real nice morning, but I saw one little deer, and then that was it. And then Monday morning, I was sitting at work, and I got another picture of him at 9 o'clock. He walked by a few times. So then it was kind of like, okay, this is sort of where my focus is going to be. Because I generally, like I said, don't have a chance to purposefully hunt or chase, something like that. So um, I hunted. I think I took off the next Wednesday, hunted till about 11, and I got tired of my phone ringing between customers and vendors and problems on jobs, and just sort of got frustrated and gave up and got out of the stand and left. But then uh, that Saturday, I sat all day and saw one deer at like 10 a.m., and that was it. And I still was getting a picture here and there at night, but I hadn't got a picture for a few days. So I thought he was, I thought, okay, I sort of missed my window. The first doe came in somewhere, and that's where he ended up, and he's gone.
Let me just like pause and ask a
Mhm.
question, because some guys are all day hunters and some guys are not. They're hunting the morning and they're hunting
Mhm.
the evening. Um, where do you fall on there? You like a mixed bag, or do you like to sit all day?
Um, I like to sit all day if I'm sitting deer or seeing deer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit all day. I don't mind it. I generally, um, it was a little easier in this case because I mean, we didn't have anything going on.
Right.
So that's a big thing with me is just at work. If I'm not at work, my stuff's not getting done. It's only piling up. So, I got to have a good reason to stay out there. And then with the kids stuff and everything, being free to do it's one thing. I don't mind sitting all day. It gets tougher as I get older. I don't think as much because I mean, of course, I get more sore. Um,
Your legs get stiff.
it's crazy, man. Like, I don't have knee issues at all, but my knees will get sore. I'm like, dude, you are sitting. You gotta, something's not right. But um, I I don't mind doing it. It's just nowadays it seems like I'm not getting something done.
Well,
It's always too much work. Work's overrated though.
Yeah, you just sort of think, and you're thinking, okay, well, I'm sitting here doing this, but I should be being productive somewhere
Hmm.
else. So now, I mean, again, like I think that's a product of the hunting for me. Like if I had a chance to chase big bucks, it'd be a little easier to kind of sit all day. But um, that's the thing. If you're seeing deer, I think it's easy to keep giving it stay
Yeah,
there.
it's easier to sit out all day when you're seeing
Yeah.
deer for sure.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm the opposite. If in full transparency, like if I'm at work, I'm thinking, well, what if that buck's moving through? Like even if I'm not seeing anything, like I'm almost. I mean, I've never been addicted to like drugs or anything like that, but I imagine that's what it's like, because all I'm thinking about is like, man, I'm here. I'm not in the woods. There's probably something going on. I'm missing something. I'm like the
Hmm.
kid that thinks he's missing out on something. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That's how I explained hunting to somebody a few weeks ago. I was like, I don't know if you ever done drugs or not, but it's kind of like
right.
that. Half the year you're just like, you got any deer on you, and the other half you're like, gotta get out
Exactly
there.
right. Exactly right. Anyway, go ahead, Justin. We're getting in the way
So
of your story.
and it was a little bit like that. It was kind of like, I mean, my brother Chris was all over me. He's like, dude, you need to be there every minute you can be there, which I know that, but also every minute I'm there is a minute that I'm not somewhere else.
You have
Um,
responsibilities.
so it's I don't know. I think it's just a little bit of a weird thing too, because again, it's just not, it was like all along I was like, man, this deer's actually around and it's cool, but my mindset wasn't necessarily I got to go hunt him every minute and I'm going to kill him. It was like, you know, it's I'll hunt when I can, but like if I get to see him, I feel like that
Right.
would be good. Like I'm not expecting to see him. So I hunted Saturday. I killed him on I think the 9th was a Sunday. I hunted Saturday the 8th, and I got up in my stand. It was still like I guess the moon was kind of on its way out um, from a full moon, and like it was pretty bright whenever I got in the stand. But I got up in the stand and I sort of was unpacking my rattling horns and stuff, and I heard a deer started snorting behind me, and I was like, "Gosh," and it was kind of a weak sounding snort, and
Okay.
Um, so it snorted a handful of times and then it kind of bounded off. I thought, okay, we're good. And then 5 minutes later, it came back and I was in the stand probably 50 minutes before it even started to break kind of gray from the sunlight light. Um, and it came back 5 minutes later, started snorting again, and then it kind of bounded off. And I thought, okay, well now it's gone. Well, then it came back and it was just like I'm like, dude, what is this? It's like Whoopi Goldberg, man. She just wants to talk about how terrible this place is, but she won't leave.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so it just kept coming back, and then it kind of disappeared. And the whole time I could hear it back there. I could hear like just a real light stomping. And so again, I thought it was a fawn. I thought it was just a fawn snorting and whatever. And it started getting light, and then I don't know, probably 40. I mean, sun wasn't quite up. I heard something behind me. I turned and looked, and immediately I seen the body. It was about 40 yards away, and I seen the rack, and I was like, dude, he's right there, and he's on me, and he's looking, at me. And so I was able to kind of get up and turn around, but I couldn't even, like, he was looking my way. I couldn't get my binoculars. I couldn't get my phone. Finally, after about a few minutes, I was able to get my phone out, kind of start videoing, and he kept looking up my way, and he was just stomping real light. And I realized, like, dude, this has been the deer. It's been here all morning.
Just don't make eye contact.
Well, exactly. So, and I'm like, after a couple minutes, I was like,
They're
man,
at the loins.
this is weird. Yeah. This is weird. Something's going on. He's got a doe there. And it's maybe 5 minutes later, in the thick stuff, kind of a little closer, I see a deer, and it's starting to feed my way. I'm like, dude, there she is, and she's going to bring him right in. This is crazy. Don't mess it up. And then I saw it was a little spike, and it actually did kind of pick me off. And I was like, dude, I can't. You blew it. I can't believe you messed it up. But he was rutted up too. But through this, I'm like, dude, I know, the big buck snort wheezed a couple times, and I was like, okay, he's got a doe there somewhere. And sure enough, she came walking out. Then I watched him for 45 minutes, and he was in, just inside 35 yards, 2 or 3 times, in kind of holes. But I knew there was a couple little twigs and branches in there.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't, it wasn't an option. And then,
well, for that long, that period of time, for that deer to be hanging around, like, it doesn't matter the size of the deer, when they're hanging around and they're right on the edge of, I might get a shot, that's when I get excited.
Yeah.
And, the knees I can't hold them still.
Yeah. And it was, I was pretty calm through the whole thing. It just was like, man, I guess I still just kind of was like, all right, well, he's going to go on, like I said, every few years I see a big buck, and it's just always something that just doesn't quite work out. And that's how they get that way. So it was almost like I was kind of expecting, that to be the case. But so they moved off down into the bottom then, and I got a picture of them kind of going away. And honestly, in my mind, I was like, man, dude, it was cool. I got to see him. That's awesome.
Fun hunt.
So, and I hunted till I got down like 12:30, I think, something like that, because it was starting to get warmer, and the little bottom they went into, the wind was kind of shifting from I guess it would have been like a northwest to kind of like a northeast almost. So I knew like my wind's going to get down in there, and there's a stream down there. So even though the thermals were kind of pulling everything up, I was just afraid that with the creek down there, it was just they were going to get down, and if he smells me, it's done. So I knew I could go Sunday. So I left, kind of waiting to get a picture of him Saturday night, honestly, but never did. But then I hunted Sunday morning, got there early again, went and got in a stand, and I had a little half rack forky come through about 20 minutes before I got there. Got up in the stand and was sitting there, and I could hear deer in the other edge of the hollow, and they weren't moving far or fast. They were just kind of, I could hear steps. And then I could hear some tending grunts. I was like, well, there's a buck in there, but it's not moving. They're not moving far. They're not moving, much at all. But in my head, I'd never put it together that it might be him. I just thought, it's one of the little bucks running around.
It sounds to me like, there's like a little bit of disbelief, through this whole, like, yeah, it's cool. I got to see him, but my odds of getting this guy are.
Yeah, I've been bow hunting for 28 years, and I've killed some 115s, and that's earlier in the week. I had passed up like 110 to 115 inch 8-point. I didn't pass him up. I had decided I wasn't going to shoot him,
right? And
I had grunted him in, and he got to 40, got my wind, and he made the decision. But I had already kind of decided, like, I'd never get to hunt a deer like this, and this is it. I'm completely fine eating a buck tag. It's been a long time since I've thought, man, I need to kill a buck.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since I shot a buck that wasn't like, decent buck. But like 115, I have maybe 5 or 6 deer that are like 108 to 115. So in my head, I was just like, okay, well, it's time to just, especially this year, I'm going to kill this buck or another big buck, or that I'm not, and that's fine. So Sunday morning, it felt really good. It felt like, man, deer should be moving, and we just they weren't. And I kind of, was like, man, I don't know, if he's around. I doubt he is. I'm sure some other bucks came in, smelled her, and they're off in some other county. But it was like 7 o'clock, a couple minutes after 7, and I seen a deer kind of come up across the middle, and that's what they do. This property's like a top that runs out, kind of pinches down into almost a little point, and it cliffs off into the creek, and then there's a big field on the other side. Each side is like a low hollow that they bed in. The one's more open with thick patches, and the one's pretty thick. And they come across the middle, or they come around the back. And I see this deer going up over, coming up out of the open hollow where I'd heard those deer earlier. And I got my binoculars up, and I seen the rack. I was like, dude, that's him. So I fumbled around trying to get my grunt call out of my jacket. It was all tied up in there, and I got it out, grunted, and now there's cedars and stuff in that middle. So I'm looking through binoculars, but I can't see him. And he had started trotting, like, to get across there. So when I grunted, it was, I don't know, it felt like 30 seconds, probably 5 or 10, till there was just nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom, out he popped, like from behind the cedars, ears turned. Like, that's the image that's stuck in my head.
Some you watch on TV.
Yeah, yeah. It just, and he just stopped and was looking, and I could see like he's maybe 70 yards away, and I could see his nose kind of, breathing, and he just started kind of marching, and he'd go maybe 15 yards and stop and look, and then come another 15, and he got in. I actually had drawn back. There's a few trails there where they cut in, coming back through the meadow, and I actually had drawn. Thought maybe he was going to come on the trail that's either like 10 yards away or maybe 24. So I had dialed my sight to like 25 yards. Well, of course, he turned at 35 and started to go in the woods, and I drew, and he stopped, but I just didn't feel good about 35. I didn't feel good about that distance not being dialed exactly to where I need to be. That's kind of the negative, I think, to a one pin that you're having, is just, now, like, you're like, okay, 25 to 35, how many, how high do I got to hold? I just didn't feel good about that. So I let down. He actually went in the woods, and I let him kind of get in the woods there a little bit. I could still see him. And I didn't want to do it too quick, but I let him get in there. And then I hit my grunt call, and he started coming right down the lane. And again, this lane, it's like they split off at 30, or they keep coming down the lane and they're 24. So I had dialed to 27, thinking, a little higher, a little low, whatever. Well, he came down, looked like he's going to come down the lane. I drew. He stopped and kind of stood there for a few seconds, and then he started walking, and there was he ducked under this one branch that I'd seen a deer the Wednesday before, kind of came, and he ducked under that branch, and I actually cut an opening into that spot of the lane, because when that first deer earlier in the week walked by there, I was like, there's a couple, it looks like a hole, but it's not. So I cleaned it out, and when he came, he ducked under that branch, and as soon as he did, I stopped him, and when I shot, I hit a little bit higher than I wanted to. Basically, right at the bottom of the back strap, he dropped, and I got within 10 seconds, I had another arrow, and then within inside of 10 seconds after that, it was over.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back at the video, he actually did, in addition, I think, to I didn't hold quite as low as I wanted to. He actually started to drop, when the arrow got maybe 10 feet from him, you can actually see him start to drop. And my broadhead lodged essentially right square in the backbone. 2 inches lower would have been, perfect. But it all worked out just the way it was supposed to. It was quick, and I didn't have to drag him up out of the bottom, so it was okay
Tons
too.
of better be lucky than good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
yeah. So, and that's what it was. It was just sort of, I was I was a little excited. I was excited afterwards, but like you said, it was just a lot of like, just sort of disbelief.
Right.
A lot of years, a lot of hours, a lot of encounters really throughout the years. Just the first time that it went the way it needed to go. Um, so yeah, it was just super cool, deal. Very thankful, neat thing.
I've been waiting to hear like the details on this because I know, like, one, you are a bunch of killers, so I know that, about you. But then two, I'm just sitting here listening to you tell the story, and I'm like, it's amazing because I think we can all relate how the details we remember
Yeah,
about. I mean, even
I
the
don't, I
ones
don't
that
even
get
need to
away.
see I don't need to see a video. I could have visioned that in my head based off the way
Mm-hmm.
he described it.
hmm
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, hold on here. While you're telling the story, I'm lacking on my hosting ability. So, there's the picture, guys. This is the buck he's talking about. And yeah, I mean, I'd be grinning. I'd be grinning on this too. That's a really pretty deer.
And that picture there shows like the big thing in the trail camera pictures that really kind of stuck out to me was the mass on that
Mhm.
side, on this side. And it was um, that was a big thing that sort of stuck out. And that was the thing, like, they say ground shrinkage and all that. When I got up to him, I would say his frame width and height maybe was like, I don't want to say less than I thought,
Mhm.
but a little less than I thought. But the mass was like, okay, yeah,
So
that's
not a year and a
exactly
half old
what
deer.
we thought he was. Yeah. And yeah, I butchered him actually. The table I'm sitting in the living room. I got in trouble with my wife earlier because got some stuff on the floor. But um, the back straps. It's just we were talking about it before. Like a mature deer, a mature buck, they have muscles and meat that no other deer has. And
Right.
the back straps. Like I cutting the back straps out and just kept going down. I'm like, they dang near go the whole way up into the top of the head. It seems they're so long. But
That's
yeah,
fun.
it's pretty cool. It was very thankful, just a cool deal.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great whenever you get those opportunities. And I was sitting here also thinking, you had a good year. Buck, you've been complaining a little bit about your opportunities. Been, I was complaining a little bit up before this
I,
week
hey, I
about
prep
how,
equipment and run the butcher shop, man. That's my job. You
and the
know.
butcher shop's fun. Like I enjoy that part of it. You know,
Yeah.
but Cody, you on the other hand, man, like I said, you've been just having a banner year.
Yeah, I haven't killed anything as big as Justin, but yeah, I got my biggest bow buck this year. My girlfriend got her biggest buck, so it's been pretty good. I'm sending y'all a picture here real quick. My buddy just sent me this. Uh, Killed on Arkansas public land, up in the mountains.
Oh,
You're gonna put me to the test. So you're
good
texting it?
gracious.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, that's why I've been looking at my phone here. Just last little bit, he just sent
Well, it's
that.
that time of year, man. Everybody's like, everybody's having good success.
Mhm. I'll try. Look, hold on
Oh,
there.
dude, that's a hoss.
This I don't
That
know.
is a toad, man.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it up here. Why don't
There
you
we
tell
go.
us? Why don't you tell us a little bit about? I know you said your girl shot a nice buck,
Yep.
and was this her first deer? That picture you sent?
No, so she killed her first one last year. She killed a 6 point last year. That was her first year. So that one is a second buck she shot this year. Uh, oh hell, I forgot to send the first one. There's been so many, I forget. So the first one was actually bigger than that. So that
And then
started off with that was my bow buck. I killed that one with my bow this year.
it's nuts, like I like to challenge, and like I said, I'm complaining earlier before this week because I'm seeing a little deer, I'm not seeing any deer. But when you're bow hunting, I got to tell you, this is incredible to get that close to an animal. I mean, even little
Mhm.
ones that you're not going to shoot, to
Yeah,
get that close to an animal's, it's
even
different than
does.
hunting with a gun.
Yeah, even does and fawns, like they walk 10, 15 yards from you. It's just you can hear them breathing, and it's just like just crazy. You're up there, and they don't know you're there. Bow hunting's just a different game.
No
Mm-hmm.
doubt.
But so yeah, we'll start from the beginning. My girlfriend's deer. So Arkansas started an alternative weapon season, which is
Mhm.
along with muzzleloader, and you can use straight wall cartridge rifles like 350 Legends, 400, 450s, 45 70s. And so we went up. My dad owns some land that butts, yeah, that deer. That's the first deer she killed this year. That's her biggest one so far. Uh, so we started out hunting up in my dad owns 45 acres in the Ozark Mountains, and it's surrounded on three sides by public land, national forest. And so we get there opening morning. We bring the kids with us, and for everybody that's listening, I have a 4-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. Just imagine how quiet they are in a deer stand.
I bet.
So, but they
Quiet
wanted
and
to go.
still,
They
right?
loved to be out there. Oh yeah. So anyway, so we get out there, and I've had some trail cam pictures of some decent bucks. Nothing just huge. Just shake your you know shake your bones. But right at daylight, we're sitting in that stand that you just seen, the redneck blind, and I look over to the left. I was like, oh, deer. I raise the gun up. Oh, that's just a stump. Right in the middle of the lane. It's about 20 foot wide. And so I look back over, and my son was wanting a snack. So I was in the bag digging for snacks, and look over, and I was like, shit, deer. Nope, stump. Wait, there's two stumps. So I threw back up, and it's probably about 175 yards. And he had his head down, but his broadside. And I could see he had horns. And I thought he was a decent buck I had pictures of. And I was like, okay, like here we go. Here you go, deer. Like shoot this one. And so she picks the gun up. By the time she gets on him, he turns with his butt to us. And she's like, I can't get a shot, can't get a shot. And I was like, well, as soon as he turns broadside, shoot. Well, then he picks his head up. When he picks his head up, I mean, it's just like, woof. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's not the little deer I thought you were. And so I'm trying to find the trail cam picture here. I got so many pictures on here. It's insane.
That's all right.
Um,
It takes me a minute to get them up on the screen anyway.
yeah. So, anyways, I was like, shoot him, shoot him. She's like, I can't. All I can see is his butt. I was like, as soon as he turns and goes in the woods, shoot. And so he never did. He walked straight into the woods. And she's like, why didn't you shoot him? Why didn't you shoot? I was like, we're here for you, a deer. Like, and if I would have known he was that big, I wouldn't have gave you a chance. And
I wouldn't have brought
so,
you out. Yep.
but anyways, he went off, and we never seen, another buck after that morning. Well, then took the kids that evening again, seen a few deer, a couple small bucks, She didn't want to shoot any of those. So next morning or that night, I got a trail cam picture of that buck that we seen, and never seen him before in my life. And so she's like, "That's the one I want. I want to kill him." I was like, "All right. Well, there's another good buck that's on camera. If he comes out, you're going to shoot him too." So we go out the next morning. Kids didn't want to go. Wait till probably 30, 40 minutes after daylight. I stick my head out the window with the rattling horns, and I bang them together and sit back. And y'all remember the story of the strawberry Pop-Tart, don't you? With me and deer hunting the strawberry Pop-Tart. So I get back, and I was like, all right, well, be ready. So I reach down, get my Pop-Tart out of the bag, and I take a picture of it, and I post it on Instagram. If you listen to any podcasts that I've been on, you know the story of a Pop-Tart. Bust it open, she goes, buck, 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 buck. And I didn't even get to take a bite yet. And so I'm looking, I was like, oh, shit, man, here he comes. So I threw the Pop-Tart down, she got up on him, he turned broadside, she smoked him. And mule kicked, and she's all freaking out, and I'm shaking, and so I was like, all right, well, let's just wait a little bit, maybe another one come out. We finished our Pop-Tarts and wait about an hour, and she's like, all right, I don't care what you say, I'm climbing down, I'm going to get my buck.
Go look at this.
Yeah, I was like, all right, let's go. So we get down, and we walk back up to the side by side and drive it down to where she shot. And driving up to where she shot, I could kind of see him in the woods, but I didn't say nothing. So we get down. She's like, oh, there's blood. And she's just walking straight with her head down. And she gets maybe 10 yards, and she's just straight down. I said, pick your head up.
That's the best.
Yeah. So, she was tickled to death over that one. And I was like, all right, well, my turn now. And he was like, all right, okay. So that was, yeah. Okay, so she killed that one. Well, then the next weekend, I go out. I said, it's my turn now. So I go out and shoot that first. Did I send you that? The last buck that I sent you, the weird looking buck.
All right, I got a trail camera buck.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the one that we seen opening morning of alternative season.
That's a nice wide rack.
Yeah. So that's the first one that we seen, and then I actually got more pictures of him last night, but I'm tagged out this year, so hopefully my dad or niece can get him. But anyways,
before the neighbors do.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They killed 170 inch last year and 160 something inch the year before. He's good. But anyways, so I go out, hunt that morning, don't see nothing, and then go out that evening, and this buck comes out of the woods into a hayfield. It's a really big field. Well, he comes all the way up to about 200 yards, and I really couldn't tell like what deer he was or how big he was. It was kind of mist and rain, and he was walking with his head down. When he finally picked his head up, and I seen he had real good mass and some G2 real long eye guards, and I was like, all right, you're dead. So he turned broadside, boom. Well, he just takes off, just sprint. Didn't buck, kick, duck, nothing. I was like, well, crap, missed him. So he runs off in the woods, and called my girlfriend, and I was like, I just missed one. I've seen a lot of deer, but I just, I think I've flat missed him. And I look up, and here he comes. He comes right back out again about 75 yards, and he was chasing a doe. And I bleated. He wouldn't stop, so I just gave him a, "Oi!" Well, he stopped, and of course, as soon as he stopped, he turned his butt to me and then turned back. And I was like, well, I'm shooting you in the throat. So sure enough, I shot him right there, and that one done him in. And so
I'd say this: you're not only just laying deer over left and right, having this, like you said, being tagged out year, but it's not even just deer, right? I mean, we talked earlier this year about, you had ton of geese you've had
Mhm.
success with. You what was the last picture? You got yourself a cat and a
Oh,
hog
yeah.
here recently.
Yeah, yeah. Me, my dad, my 11-year-old niece killed a 190-pound boar. And then I killed a bobcat that same morning. And then that one was really cool because my dad and my niece went to one stand, and then I went to another, and I shot. Or as soon as I got there, it was like 5 minutes after daylight. I heard him shoot, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "What'd you get?" And he said, "Big old pig." And so, heck yeah. Well, then just a little bit later, uh, a bobcat come up, so I shot it at 20 steps, which was I thought was pretty cool, closest I've ever been to a live bobcat. And so we waited probably 2.5 hours, got down and started trailing the pig, and we had really good blood. And then we found where he laid down, and the neighbor's dog followed us down. They went up for breakfast and they come back down, and the dogs followed them down. So I got a leaf with some blood on it. But here, Fred, here, smell the blood. I said, go get him. Well,
Uh-huh.
he just takes off, and I was like, "There's no shot he's actually going to track this pig." Sure enough, wasn't 4 seconds later, just, and then you hear the pig just, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, we gotta go.
A little bit
So
of
we take
action.
up, yeah. So we just take off running, and there's a really big briar thicket, and we run around the briar thicket, and as soon as we get around it, that pig was right there bowed up, and I grab my niece and I sling her behind me. I pull up, shoot again, and well, he starts turning and trying to charge, and my dad shot him like right there, and that one killed him. And then we had to drag that dude up the mountain, and luckily it wasn't just too far to the side by side, but yeah, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
uh,
the drag sucks sometimes, especially, the size of the animal that you're taking.
oh dude, it was horrible. I mean, oh my gosh, it sucked. We ended up going back up to the house and getting some straps and tied around his legs and drug him with the straps. There's no way. And we shot him in the mountain, and the incline was probably about like that we're trying to drag him up. It was just horrible.
So
But
if 2025 boys, if 2025 hunting season, was like a movie title, what would it be for Cody?
Kill Tony. Oh, it's been a mess. And then I killed the buck with my bow on public land. Uh, me and my buddy run trail cameras on it, and it's in city limits, and it's bow hunting only. And so we run a bunch of trail cams out there, and he was probably the third biggest buck that we had pictures of. And sure enough, he come in went out one evening, and he was the first deer that come in, and like he walked up 24 yards, and I hit him a little far back, and I was like, I didn't feel good about it, and I was like, oh no, but I thought I heard him crash in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Well, started trailing him, and the woods that I thought he crashed in was this really big drainage ditch that I didn't know was there. It was about 10 foot wide and right at muck boot deep. And I guess he just ran and just barreled off into that water. But he ended up only going about another 60 yards after that and piling up. And I called my buddy, and I was like, I'm going to need some help. I'm a mile from the truck. And he's like, well, you're going to have to give me a minute because he lives 40 minutes away. And he goes, it's my turn to give the kids a bath tonight. I'm in the middle of our bath routine. And I was like, well, shit. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and getting him uh, cut up and, gutted and everything else. And by the time he was all done, I already had him back to the truck. And I was like, don't even worry about coming. But it was a pain in the ass, but I'm proud
Well,
of
it's
that.
nice, I guess, in the back of your mind, knowing that you got somebody coming. It's more of a mental thing,
Yeah.
and you got help
Well,
coming anyway.
yeah, well, and it would have been a little bit different. I probably would have waited on him if he was closer, but he was still an hour and a half from being able to come, and I was like, I got I could get this deer home, clean it at 70 degrees outside, so.
You're like Justin thinking, I got other things I got to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But either way, I mean, it's been, like I said, been a hell of a year. Our early goose season was great. We went on 3 hunts, killed 66 geese, 40 within 1 hunt. We only went teal hunting once, killed 12 teal, and then our deer season has just been off the charts. Opening day rifle season, my girlfriend killed that 5 point that you showed. My stepmom killed one. My grandpa killed one. My dad killed one. And then we were leaving, and a guy that I used to work with was coming down the road, and he seen me and pulled in. And I was like, hell, I got 4 deer to go home and clean. And he was like, well, you want another one? I got one in the back. And I said, yeah, $20, I'll clean it. And he said, all right, I'll meet you at your house. Sure enough, he come up and I cleaned it for him, and he gave me $20. So it was a win for me.
Yeah, man. It sounds like everybody in the.
Yeah.
So, what's your season like down there? Because I mean, we're PA guys, and you're down in Arkansas, and I think you do a little bit of hunting in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
But when's your season start? Because I know the Maryland guys, they get to hunt, before we do too.
So Arkansas started this year they call it a velvet hunt, but it's an early antler hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for 3 days, like the second weekend of September. Excuse me. And then our regular archery season starts, I think, the second to last weekend of September, or maybe it's the last weekend of September. I don't remember. And then we have a muzzleloader season that comes in for 10 days in October. And then our rifle season starts up the second weekend of November and goes until the end of November. And then there's like another muzzleloader alternative season around December 13th-ish. It's for a few days. And then we'll have an after Christmas hunt, which is a 3-day rifle hunt. And then bow season goes all the way until end of February. So we have a very generous season.
Justin, do you hunt the late season up here? Because we get a late season that goes into the January to the end of January, basically.
So I mean, I have wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling, generally the last couple years doing that. I mean, I have, and I don't mind hunting in the cold. Actually, where I killed my buck this year, like it's a good place late season. The deer get pushed in there and rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think maybe 3 years ago, I hunted the last day of the late season, and I saw there was 27 deer in one herd, that just get pushed into that bottom. And
it gets cold, they group up.
Yeah, they, so now my thing late season, when you get that late, some of the does that were bred early,
mm-hmm.
That you got them out, and get to where I'd rather sit and just watch them than to shoot. They did, yeah.
What about you, Matt?
I'm a little bit like Justin. The wrestling world has kept me from hunting that late season.
Sure.
So normally till then the freezer's full enough, but more so than anything, it's the time aspect of it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I land on that late season, that going into, like, once you get in after late December and the holidays and stuff. I like hunting the cold because of what it does for the deer, but I don't like being cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with the winds blowing and it's cold, I'm not sitting those all day sits when it's freezing like that. That's for sure. I got to get up and move a little bit, like Lee was saying in the chat earlier. So, it's cool, man. We got a lot of really cool stories. I know you guys have been just like slaying them this year. Buck, I'm holding out for your story, dude.
Yeah. I can tell you good butcher shop stories, man. That's about where I've been. I shot that
Yeah.
coyote a couple weeks ago with the bow, and that's been the only thing I've really seen to shoot.
That's fun though
Uh,
too when you see those and you're able to take one out.
yeah, yeah. It's
Well, we
hunting. If it was easy, that nobody would want to do it.
Right.
The deer win most of the time, and that's what makes it fun.
mm,
But
I don't,
next year could be different, and you know I won't get out tomorrow night, but I'm gonna try and get out Wednesday and Thursday, or yeah, Wednesday and Thursday. And then we're heading up to Potter for bear camp. But the next anytime you go in the woods, in 30 seconds can change the
Yep.
whole season. A bad season can turn into the best season in the next 30 seconds in the woods.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I was before I killed that one with my bow. I hunted for days, and hardly seeing a deer. And I got up there at like 2:30, and it don't get dark until 8. And I was like, man, what am I doing? I'm just wasting my time. I could be at home, spending time with my family. Like, what the hell? And I just happened to, oh shit, there's a deer. Oh
It's a
shit,
mental game.
that's a buck. And I was like, golly. And then going to Missouri, we go up there and hunt. We're usually there for 5 to 7 days, and we're doing all day sits up there. And day 3 or 4, all day sit, you're not seeing much. It's like, man, I just wasted my money. This is bullshit. What am I doing?
Well, it makes it easier when you got I'm always saying about having a hunting buddy, but I mean
Mhm.
even just somebody to text,
Yeah.
hey man, you seeing anything?
Yeah.
Your feet cold? What's going on?
Mhm.
So I just went up to our camp. We do a rut hunt every year, at least 3 days. I went up on Tuesday, hunted Tuesday through Saturday, and I know I'd sent you guys a picture of the thermometer when I got to camp. Like it's nuts. It was sub 20 degrees inside the cabin.
It doesn't seem possible. I mean,
It's
inside
an
a
old
building like
thermometer,
what?
maybe.
It's got to be your camp's in Antarctica or something.
It was cold, dude. I mean, so minus the wind chill, like disregard the wind chill, outdoors was warmer at 32 degrees.
That's crazy.
And then you got Tuesday was super windy. It had I don't know, 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts.
Hmm.
So I don't like being in a tree when the trees are blowing, you know. Felt a little bit like being on the bay. I was just rocking. But I got up early on Tuesday. Got to the camp about 11 o'clock, and I know that my brother and Brady were coming up that evening. They're putting in a day at work, so I really wanted to get up and see if there's any way that I could get. I had the whole mountain to myself, and I want to see if I can get some meat on the meat pole. And so I'm sitting in this tree. I've got wind blowing, hitting me right in the face. I got some brand new camo that was sent to me to test out, and so I'm like, all right, let me try this camo, see if it's warm, and it really did the trick. It's actually I was impressed with how good it worked. But I'm sitting there all day. It gets dark about 5:30 here right now with the time change, and can't feel my hands, can't feel. So I'm not playing on my phone or nothing like that. My hands are in my pockets. And you guys know me, like I like to take pictures, I like to record. I'm trying to create content. Doesn't matter if I'm camping or if I'm fishing or what I'm doing, hiking. But I didn't even take my camcorder out. I didn't have none of my cameras hooked up. And 4:30, I have this little basket rack buck, about 6 point, comes in, and he's on top of me. He's at like 25 yards before I see he's present. There's no way to get a camera out and to get this on film. And you guys don't know, I've been passing on deer all year long. I've been saying I've been passing on deer all year long. I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity, honestly. But I wasn't gonna like hold out, even though I had the whole week to hunt. I thought this is a great opportunity to get a deer on the meat pole, before my brother and my nephew show up. So plus Buck, you set me up with this brand brand new bow that I've not drawn first blood with this year yet, and I'm ready to let this thing eat. And so this buck gets to 20 yards, no wind gusting, it dies down, and like I felt good about the shot, and I had a nice broadside shot on this deer, and it, so I drew back. Everything felt perfect, and I let the arrow eat, and this deer just stands there. Now if you if you've done this long enough, deer are gonna one or two things. They're gonna duck, they're gonna jump, they're gonna run. I mean, even if the arrow gets near, this deer didn't do a thing. He just stood there, and I was scratching my head. I'm like, there's no way that I missed this deer. And he just walked off. He just walked off about 40 yards, and he bedded down. I could see where he laid down, and he just laid down. And so I'm really scratching my head because I've got lighted nocks. I didn't see the arrow. The nock didn't light up. I don't know if I missed this deer or what. And so he laid there, bedded down about 40 yards, 20 minutes. And two or three doe like walked within 15 yards of where he's bedded down, and he doesn't even get up. He doesn't pay no mind to him. And then that's when I started thinking like something's not right with this deer. I had to hit it, but it didn't act like I hit it. And after two or three doe walked by, he got up and he just gingerly walked off and out of sight. So that was a 4:30. Gets dark at 5:30. So probably maybe half an hour later, from 4:30 to dark, I saw 10, 11 deer, and they were all doe except for him. And so it was an awesome hunt. Like you say, you go out and you get to see deer. It'd be a great hunt no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But, I had a bunch of doe come out. They're not in range. It was windy still. So I'm just watching them feed 50 yards away from me, feed down across the mountain. Well, two doe came in at 15, 20 yards. One real little one, and then a decent sized doe. And so I thought, well, I'm not sure about that buck, but I got a doe tag and I want to get meat in the freezer. So I drew back on this doe. And this time I saw the knock light up on my arrow, and it's sticking in the ground. The deer kicks, the deer runs off, the doe runs off, and my knock's sticking in the ground. And I thought, son of a gun, I did not just shoot under this doe. Little one was with it, ran out in front of me, stood at 15 yards in front of me, stomping. There's deer behind me on the ridge behind me. I was surrounded by doe, and they were just, squeezing and stomping. Something's not right. And eventually they cleared out. So I got out of my tree right before dark, and I go over and I check the arrow, and it's got blood on it. But it's also looks like I shot her a little bit back because she had a little bit of stomach matter in there. So I'm like, all right, I hit this one in the guts. And I'm looking, and there's no blood other than what's on the arrow. Like maybe just a little sprinkling at the impact site, but there's no blood trail. The leaves are all dry, so they're blowing all over the place. So even just to track the leaves that were kicked up, there's really nothing to go off of. So I walked another 15 yards down to where the buck was, where I shot earlier, and just to see if I could find my arrow, and the knock just didn't light up on it. And on that buck, my mechanical head didn't open up either. But that arrow wasn't covered in blood, but it was covered in stomach matter, where I had shot him a little bit low. I mean, you look at it, I actually hit him in the lung, but took opened the stomach up when I went through it. No blood on him at all. So I'm in this dilemma. It's dark. I don't want to track that doe and take the chance of bumping that buck and him running off. I know that he bedded down once. I figure I'm just going to back out. I'm going to go back to camp. I'm going to hang out the night, and I'll come up tomorrow and I'll see maybe in the daylight there's blood that I'm not seeing, right? So I had an awesome first night hunt. Go back at camp, tell the boys I've got a buck and a doe hit. and I didn't have to
I'm
wake
sure
up
Lon was
early.
ecstatic with you at that point.
Well, so Brady was texting me on the ride up. Hey, this is where we're at. How are you making out? I said, well, I got a deer hit. Buck or a doe? I said both. And so what do? You lead them on and you try to get them excited. I was hoping that I could have them down at the meat pole by the time they showed up. But awesome night at camp. You couldn't ask for better. A better hunt. And that was how I started my rut vacation. And so I let those guys go out hunt in the morning, and I waited till maybe 10, 11 o'clock, and then I started to climb the mountain because we were up on the ridge. And my gut told me I'm going to try to follow that doe. I had blood on the arrow. The buck, just like fat chance I'm not going to find that buck, but at least there was a little bit of blood on the arrow. So I'm going to try to check this doe out and see if there's more blood there. There wasn't, but where I hunt is maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 yards from the ridge line that goes along this mountain line. So I got up on the ridge and I said, I'm just going to take this thing out. I'm going to walk out to the public on the state ground where they both went the same direction. And I'm just going to look on either side of the ridge and see if I can maybe see a white belly or something like that. And I didn't go 50 yards. And I saw where, a deer had bedded down right on the ridge. And there was blood, puddle of blood on the leaves. And so I was excited. And Cody, just like you say, your girl, you can walk right up on these deer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking pictures of the blood. I'm documenting, I'm pinning the spot. And I look down over the backside of the hill, and that buck was 6 yards from me laying there.
Wow.
And I thought it was the doe, and here it was the buck all along. So, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I found this deer. So I was happy. I was ecstatic. So my plan was I clean him out. I'll get him back to my tree. And then I was just going to, maybe take a little bit, another walk and see if I could find the doe. And I was on the way dragging him back to the tree, and I found the doe. I just came across her. Neither of them went 40 yards, but there's no blood trail or anything. And I hit her a little far back, but the buck, it was actually a good shot, but my mechanical blade did not open. And, so those are like the highs and the lows of bow hunting.
And you got a full 8 hours of sleep that night. Didn't feel sick or nothing.
Not at all. No.
Morally, you did the right thing. A lot of people would go and push them and jump them and just you did the right thing. You let them bed down overnight and die where they were. If you would have probably ran in there after them, you probably would have jumped them and ran them off.
Even backing out, I fully anticipated I was going to, put some miles on my boots just to, because the closest water, we were looking up like where there were some natural springs and stuff. And the closest water is like miles away, and it's all downhill, which means it's all an uphill drag. And so I'm ecstatic. It was an awesome hunt. And then so like the rest of the week, I got to be camp cook. I got to I have tags I can still burn, but I didn't have to get up and hunt when it was cold in the morning. I could, sleep until 8, 9 o'clock and then go out and hunt the rest of the day, do an all day sit. It was an awesome week. And, and I got meat in the freezer now.
Yeah. What kind of mechanical broadheads are you using?
So I've, for the past 5 or 6 years, I've used Rage. And I was saying before the show when we went live, they've actually been pretty good to me. They've saved me on shots that weren't perfect. So when they work, they work. But for some reason, this one didn't open. First time it's ever happened, and I was sick. I did not think I was gonna get that buck.
Yeah.
So
I've had a lot of issues with mechanical broadheads too, and I made the switch this year to just regular fixed head broadheads.
I think I'm going back to them, man. I think I'm going
just
back.
Takes all the question out of them,
So there's the buck. a little goatee on him. Pretty little buck. I'm happy with him. And then I found the doe on the way back, and yeah, I mean, bottom line, I think that the doe being a little bit smaller made the buck look bigger than it did. You know, a big body deer. I don't think that the big buck made the doe look smaller. I think it's the other way around. You shoot a small doe and put it next to it, make it look like a good big buck in a picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got a couple more weeks, and then it's going to be rifle season up here in 2 weeks, right? Right, boys.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll get after it. I appreciate you guys coming on. You know, sharing some stories. I wanted to tell my story.
Oh yeah.
I like hanging out with killers, and you guys are a great group. I appreciate you guys all being part of the group and sharing these pictures. You get a little jealous whenever you're not seeing any deer and everybody else is sending these monster racks. But I'm happy for you guys when I see that stuff come through. Especially like I said, when I see your kids.
I'm just glad to know there's still deer out there. You know, somebody's killing them, so at least they're out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's not like that every year here. I didn't kill a buck last year. I had the chance to. I missed a really big one, and then my dad ended up killing him.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's just been, you know, a really good year. We've been blessed, and all I can say is now I'm kind of sad that it's over, but I'm glad I'm bucked out because duck season starts this Saturday, and I don't have to worry about, am I going duck hunt? Am I going deer hunt? The rest of the year, I'm just going to go duck hunt.
Yeah, you're a big waterfowl guy, and you're in the right place for it too.
Oh yeah.
So get excited about that. I know the waterfowl guys. There's certain guys. Some guys aren't on the show tonight because they're gearing up to go out this week and make a trip whenever their season opens up too. So best of luck to y'all. Best of luck to y'all as you do it.
Yep.
Any closing statements or thoughts?
Nope. You care if I shout a couple people out real quick?
Come on, man. We got a growing group, and we're continue to build up these relationships. So go ahead, do a few name drops.
Well, these are all waterfowl, you know, people. But if any of y'all are needing some steel shot or some turkey shot, I know there's some turkey hunters in this group. Look up Big River Ammunition. He hand loads all of his shells, and they're kick ass. They are pretty awesome. And then TFS Cable Works. He makes custom gun straps, lanyards, game totes. You know, he made for my compound bow, he made me a cable wrist strap to go on my bow, and it's coated in like this PVC coating type deal, and it looks it's sweet. He can do several different colors on it, customize it to your bow strings and all that. I'll send it to our group chat. But then top down decoys for your goose hunters out there. They make some pretty awesome decoys, and then Bluebird waterfowl. They make some little rigging that goes on your mojos, and it makes a bunch of water ripplers and all kinds of stuff. So they're pretty cool. So any of you waterfowl listeners out there, go hit them up and go to my bio. There's a code for each one of them to get a little discount on.
Yeah, hit me with the links and or where you want me to drop in the description. I'll put it in the description of the podcast. And you know, we always want to go out and support these guys that are out here trying to make a living doing it.
Yep. All right, sweet. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me on a Monday night. This has been fun. It's a lot better than just texting back and forth, even though I do enjoy the texts. I love getting on and swapping tales with you. So appreciate you all, and we'll do it again here sometime soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Ron.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Take care.
Everybody remember, nature is our playground. Get outdoors, and remember to always stay wild. We'll see you next time.